What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Saving Men's Lives Network. Today, fellas, I want to talk to you real quick about the concept of white knighting. Some of you guys have heard the term before. For some of you guys, it's your first time. So we break it down real easy. A white knight, traditionally, is basically the person who rides in on a white horse, comes to the rescue for someone or group of people. This was seen as noble, seen as courageous, seen as honorable by the person who would come to the aid of the defenseless. Over the past 100 years, however, this term and this concept has been distorted, as most things have been, to a pitiful version of their former selves. What I mean by that is, there are a lot of men out here, simps, all of them, who have aligned themselves with the FEminists. They call themselves male FEminists, which is little more than a veiled facade to try and get laid. Because trust me, if these men truly understood what feminism really wants, they would have nothing to do with it. But what happens is you get guys who are still trapped in the blue pill matrix, and they'll see a woman in so-called distress and they'll run, not walk, to try to assist her. They never ask any questions. They never do any deep digging into what's going on to find out what caused the situation in the first place. I'll give an example. Somewhere in public, a guy and a girl are arguing, right? So back and forth. It's not physical. It's just a shouting match at this point. All of a sudden, she gets to putting her hands on him, pushing him, whatever, trying to smack him in his face, throwing a drink on him, you name it. People see this happening. They see her spouting off. They see her putting hands on him. They see her picking the drink up, throwing it, picking up objects, throwing it, trying to punch him, whatever the situation may be. The split second he tries to defend himself, now all of a sudden, these people who had concrete in their asses a minute ago are now Olympic long jumpers, and they fly their seats and up from their tables and across the bar and from across the food court and wherever else the situation may be to try to run to her assistance, because how dare this strong man try to assault this delicate flower? Never mind the fact that in most cases, I'm not going to sit up here and pretend there aren't some maniacs in the world who harm women proactively, and they go out of their way to hurt people proactively. These people should be locked away from the rest of us in civilized society. But I'm talking about the majority of DV, domestic V word, thank you YouTube, that happens is a result of a woman who can't control her mouth or her hands. And the guy who's on the receiving end finally having enough, because everyone has a breaking point. Now, I'm no advocate for DV. It should not take place. But what often happens is bravado. Look it up if you don't know what it means. Bravado. The counterfeit version, the Diet Coke version of courage, is wrapped around so many Western women like a blanket. They really do believe they can say and do anything without consequences for their words and actions. They really do believe, because they've been raised in a culture that gives them this point of view, that no matter what they do, a few tears and they get off. So what happens is a lot of women will put themselves in extraordinarily dangerous situations no intelligent man ever would, because she understands there's a network of simps who can't wait to spring into action. Everybody from random strangers to her siblings, if they're male, her male cousins, her dad, her uncles, her grandfather, if he's still around, her male co-workers. If she's one of these e-thoughts her subscribers, the people who pay for her OFans page and whatever the case may be, if she's a pole swinging cheek clapper, the guys who come to the bar to put money in her G-string, there's a whole system of people who in her mind, and she's not entirely wrong, are ready, willing, and able to run, not walk, to her rescue, despite what she personally may be guilty of and may have initiated in the first place. My advice to all my guys is simple. Do not be a white knight. Let me boil that down a little further. I'm not saying you should never come to a woman's aid. But what I am saying is a lot of men have been grievously wounded, if not outright killed, butting their nose into somebody else's business, not asking the question, not knowing who started all this in the first place, not knowing how long that man's been dealing with this. See, what you see as a passerby, what you see as a bystander at a situation might be the 55th argument, might be the 55th time she put her hands on homeboy, and the 55th time's the charm. You don't know. All you see is the societal programming. Woman in distress, go rescue. No. Hell no. A great many men have been put in the hospital or the graveyard, butting their nose in somebody else's business. My advice to you, if you watch my content, is simple. If that woman is not one of your blood relatives, your sister, your auntie, your mom, your grandma, if that woman is not one of your blood relatives, or I'll throw a bone, if this woman is not a family friend that goes back to way before you went through puberty, you're a grown man now. Maybe she was the daughter of your mom's best friend and she bringing her daughter around there and y'all play together. Y'all, okay, cool. We'll extend that to her in this example. If she's not one of your blood relatives, or she has no idea what your long strong tastes like, she has no business asking for your protection, because of the danger that may come to you as a direct result. Now, the guys I will extend a bit of courtesy in that regard are men like myself. When I was still military, our job was to go over and rescue the helpless from those who would cause them great harm. Guys in law enforcement who literally put on the uniform, the badge, and the gun to serve and protect. To the guys who work in fire and rescue, because it takes a special kind of guy to run into a burning building while everybody else is running out. Respect for the EMTs. Again, they put the uniform on, learn CPR. But outside of those very specific categories, fellas, do not be a white knight. We live in an era where women look men in the face with no shame and tell us that they are strong and independent, that they don't need no man. Women who, by their own actions, prove they will not follow. Not cannot, because they'll do whatever their boss at work tells them to do. Come home to you and give you all kinds of attitude, back talking bullshit. So no, we live in a world where these women in the West especially feign equality. On a side note, you know what? Nah, YouTube will scrap my channel if I say that. So instead, I'm gonna do this. Men, and the boys who will one day be men. If a woman who is not within your immediate sphere of influence puts herself in a situation where she had her mouth write a check that her ass couldn't cash, you let that guy take her to the bank. Because the last thing you want to have happen to you is to step in, you get your head cracked open. You step in and you catch some charges that you were doing something you weren't doing, like you touched her inappropriately during the rescue process. So now you up on charges because the other guys probably ran away. But here you are. So now you're going to catch a reputation-destroying accusation everybody who knows you longer than 5 minutes knows you'd never do. Nah, fellas. There's a reason why attacks on women have skyrocketed in the recent past. Because good men are tired of getting treated like garbage and spoken to accordingly. We're tired of doing what we as men naturally want to do and having it be called toxic and destructive. So fine. To the feminine women, you better get your sisters in check. To the feminine women who understand the differences between male and female and our very unique roles in society and in relationships, you better get your sisters in line. Because the change isn't going to come from us. We've done enough. We built society already. We've invented all the technology already. Made your lives as comfortable as any human beings have ever lived on this planet already. We've done our part. If you want to benefit from traditional male roles, ladies, for you feminine ladies out there, you better get your asses in gear and get the sisterhood under control. Because the more and more feminism runs rampant, the less and less we as Western men even want to stay here. So, on that note, and with that said, that's my time. Like the video, comment down below. Share with a friend and subscribe. Never let your brother suffer in silence when the truth can set him free. Networkers, we working. Till next time.